Episode 18 of the life of a 19-year-old trying to run a business. This week I go to Nelspruit, we have a braai, and I'm on the road again to Johannesburg. So then this episode starts off with me accompanying my sister to Nelspruit. This is my sister with the F30 BMW that you guys would have seen a review of. And yeah, this was my first time driving this car. It was my first time driving a relatively newer BMW. The only experience I had driving BMWs up to that point was my poor old 320i E90s. So yeah, it was quite interesting for me, or rather eye-opening I should say, to drive something a bit newer. We were in a bit of a rush, so let me just say C&J Holdings turned into C&J Airways, let me just say that. But we were able to get there in time just because I am Michael Schumacher incarnate. He hasn't passed away, I'm just saying I am the black Michael Schumacher. But it was really interesting to feel how that car drove on the road. It was much more tighter, much more faster than my E90 was, but you guys saw all of that in the review, and that's not really what we're doing here. But yeah, that was the first time that I drove that F30. Next up, once I came back from Nelspruit, one of my lifelong friends, his family was selling their car, the imported VW Polo 9N3, imported straight from the motherland, Swaziland, of course. And to say it was dirty would be an understatement. This thing was kind of insane, I'll be honest. There was just mud and dirt and stuff everywhere, but we were able to get it straightened out and looking pretty good, I should say. You guys saw the TikTok that I posted about that now, I think about a month ago, because you know these episodes were filmed like a bit of a long time ago. So that was about a month ago that I posted that TikTok, and yeah, we were able to get that sorted out for him. Next up was my brother's birthday. This is the guy that you saw in episode something or other. I think it was episode what, like 15, I think 14, something like that. The guy who had started a business in December. It was now his birthday, so we celebrated by giving him a braai. That's a post that data on my camera. I'm so speedy, she's in your After that rather joyous day, it was time to suffer again. I had to go back to Joburg to sort out my NSFAS issues amongst all of the other issues I was facing academically. But those are for when I have 100,000 subscribers and I'm explaining my life story. Right now, the only thing I can explain is my NSFAS issue that I had, in that I had to submit a IT 834 SARS document from NSFAS. I had submitted it actually. I was supposed to submit it early January, I think, and that's what I did. But I still could not register, so I had to go to Johannesburg, try to find some funding. If you're a student, you understand the struggle, you understand the nonsense that you have to go through when the year starts, and now you have to find scraps, you know, borrow from uncles and stuff like that in order to pay for your registration. So yeah, we just went back there and tried to sort that out. I say we because I was with a brother of mine. I'm not gonna say his name. I'm not sure how he feels about being in my videos, so I'm not gonna say his name, but that was one person who really just helped me in my time of need. And that really highlighted the importance of having people in your life, of having not even people in your life. If you're a student, the importance of having connections. It is so vital to be connected as a varsity student. Without connections, you might not even finish your degree. This goes for academic stuff, this goes for registration stuff like I'm going through now, this goes for getting varsity jobs and stuff like that. Connections are so vital, and I feel so grateful to have been connected to this guy for basically my entire life, because he was the one who held my hand and helped me through every single process that I had to go through in order to sort out my registration issues. Yeah, so I want to extend my my gratitude to my brother. He knows himself, he's probably watching, and really want to stress the importance of just knowing people. Just speak to as many people as possible so that you have people that have your back when things go a bit pear-shaped. Right, so ending the episode off was the process of filming the 3-month review that you guys saw of my E90 BMW. It is one of the biggest videos on the channel, and yeah, I just wanted to share the behind the scenes of that video. So I started the day off just planning to, you know, start the car, take the route to where I was supposed to go and start working. But a BMW being a BMW, of course it did not start. The battery was flat, amongst other issues. But yeah, that's what you guys saw, and I had an idea of the kind of video that I wanted to shoot. I had an idea of the kind of shots I wanted to take, the kind of narrative that I wanted to tell through the video, and the battery issue kind of added fuel to that fire of the ideas that were in my head. That's when I had the idea of the narrative of that entire video, because my videos are kind of, I try to structure them to have an A plot and a B plot. An A plot obviously being the things that most people notice, which is the actual review, and the B plot being actually getting to a point where we're doing the review. Stuff like jump starting the car, stuff like driving to the location, stuff like arriving at the location, stopping, you know. That is kind of the B plot that I try to implement into that video. So yeah, that is kind of my thinking process when I'm filming a review, is what is the A plot and what is the B plot. What is the other thing that is going on within the main thing that is going on, which the main thing was the review and the information that I was spurting out. But then what else is happening? What is the plot within the plot? Yeah, that's basically how I shoot my videos. Obviously a lot of planning goes into that. But yeah, that was a bit of the planning process. If you want a more thorough tutorial on how to review cars, comment down below. This is not what we're doing here. This is just me sharing my life kind of. So I won't go into a lot of detail on that. But yeah, now you guys know how my brain kind of works whenever I'm doing a video. Right, so I try to do a segment where I drive out to the place where I usually do my reviews, just to kind of film the 1,000 subscriber segment. But I got there and there were people there, so I left. I went to my other spot and it started raining at my other spot. So now I am back in the car, literally driving back home after wasting my petrol. But it's cool, it's cool. So yeah, I do really appreciate the growth that we've seen in the channel, and forgive the steering wheel just kind of blocking my face a little bit. I am going through the rural area, so there has to be a lot of ducking and diving happening. But I just wanted to say that I'm really grateful for the growth that we've seen in the channel. 1,000 subscribers in what is 4 months, only 4 months of me really committing to the long form content. That's just a sentiment to, I'm not gonna say how good my content is, but how much support you guys have been showing me. I'm eternally grateful for that. And yeah, I honestly believe that the community that we're building right now will be amongst the biggest automotive car communities on YouTube. I honestly believe that can happen. And I'm not saying this just because I know something that you guys don't. I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know that it is going to happen, that we are going to turn into one of the biggest automotive communities on YouTube. Not even one of the biggest automotive communities on YouTube. That's how much faith I have in what we're doing here. And yes, there may be times where I might be off YouTube or not uploading as frequently, but I will make it my life's mission to turn this into what I'm talking about, and turn C&J Holdings into one of the biggest mobile detailing services in the country and in the continent. Potentially, the continent is kind of crazy. Let's just start with the country. I am kind of filming this more for myself than you guys, as you can kind of tell. I am talking in a tone to where it does feel like it's more like me talking to a future version of myself than me talking to the audience. That was kind of my thought process behind filming this segment, was that let me tell my future self and have a reminder for my future self of what the original goal for this entire thing was. So if ever I feel demotivated like I kind of feel now, there's a lot going on, but you guys know we're not really an emotional channel here, so I do try and not include a lot of how I feel into things. But there's a lot going on in my personal life. There's a lot going on with my social media and all that. That's not maybe the best in the world. And so I just want to film this for a future version of myself. If ever something like a period like this happens again, and maybe I feel like at that certain point it'd be better for me to quit, I just want to remind myself of the goal. I just want to remind myself of where I was originally planning to take the channel. So yeah, thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. I am eternally grateful. It's honestly kind of surreal. I've been doing YouTube since I was in grade 5 or grade 6, like a little primary school little beast boy, just doing YouTube, trying to find something that works, and to finally find an audience like this, to find like-minded people who actually support what I'm trying to do, means the absolute world to me. It's kind of like watching your dream come true, really slowly, yes, but still nonetheless watching your wildest dreams slowly come to fruition. I'm eternally grateful for you guys, and I am eternally grateful to the haters also. There's not a lot of hate that I get, if I'm being honest. My comment section and everything on my social media is overwhelmingly positive, but there are those little ones here and there that, you know, they get to, if you know, as a human being. But I appreciate them also, because sometimes it's not even hate, it's constructive criticism. It's something that I can take and make my content better with. So yeah, that was the message I wanted to share. Is I'm just really grateful for the community that we're building, and I can't wait to see where what we're doing is going to take us, where it's going to end, because the possibilities are honestly endless. I'm not gonna toot my own horn and say what I would say to maybe close friends about their channel and about myself. I do tend to be way more high confident, you can say, when I'm talking like that. But this was just meant to be a simple thank you message for all the love. Let me try and get back home and try not to run over a school child here. So yeah, catch you back at the studio. Well, no, we're not in the studio yet. I am back home, as you guys can see. I just wanted to add one more thing, is that this 1,000 subscriber clip that I just filmed, the reason why it doesn't feel that deep is because we still have a long ways to go. It still is only 1,000 of the 100,000 that we are going to have in the next 5 years. So I wanted to film this extra clip is to just remind myself to film a proper video at 100,000 subscribers, describing my entire life, my entire upbringing, and what led to me having the skills and having the knowledge to do what I do at the age that I am right now. All of the YouTube stuff I was messing around with in primary school, going into high school, the job that I had as a freelance editor, not really a job, but the side hustle that I had as a freelance editor that sustained me and my family throughout my matric, all of that stuff. I'm just gonna film this clip to remind myself, when we get to 100,000 subscribers, film that video and describe that entire journey, because I feel like you guys would deserve it at that point. And you will notice that I'm saying when we get to 100,000 subscribers, not if we get to 100,000 subscribers, because I am sure of it. Even if we're at 1,000 right now and the community is growing at a really steady rate, I know at some point we will get to and surpass the 100,000 subscribers. So I'm gonna film this clip to hold myself accountable and film that video when we get there. Yeah, I might sound insane, but that's just how I feel. That's just how much faith I have in the community that we are building. So yeah, let me park the car in the garage and let's finally get back to studio like I said we would. Right then, let's end the episode off like we did with the last one with some wisdom from the Bible. So this episode I want to talk about a story from Luke chapter 15, not sure about the verses. It's a story about a father who had two sons, and one of those sons asked for his inheritance early. His father granted him his wish, gave him his inheritance early, and the son went on to squander all of that money, just wasted it all whenever he left home. And he got to the point where he was so poor that he worked taking care of pigs, and at one point was considering actually eating the pig food that he was giving the pigs. That's how poor and hungry he was. So seeing as his situation was not looking too hot, he went back home to his father and he asked for forgiveness, basically admitting to his wrongdoing and asking his father to take him back. And to his surprise, his father took him back with open arms. His father even threw a feast for him to celebrate the return of his son. Now, the other son, who was more responsible than the one who had ran away, the prodigal son, as you may, he asked his father, why would you grant him forgiveness since he has wronged you so much? And that's a question that you might ask yourself too, if maybe you are a sinner looking for God, or you are a kind of lukewarm Christian person trying to get closer to God, kind of like I am, is why would God accept me into his arms when I have wronged him so much? And the lesson we get from this story is that he is a forgiving God. He is a graceful and forgiving God. He is a God that no matter how much you may wrong him, if you come back to him, confess all the wrongdoing you've done and ask for his forgiveness, he will forgive you. That is how much love that God has for us, for his children. So yeah, that is just to say, however sinful you may feel, however off the deep end you may feel, God will always forgive you. God will always take you back, and you will always be God's child. Now, this is not to say go out there and sin knowingly, thinking, he'll forgive, he's a forgiving God. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if it does happen that you unnoticingly kind of stray off the holy path, or stray off the path that God has given you, and at some point you realize that you strayed off, you can still go back to him. Don't ever feel like it's too late. That was the message for this week. Thank you guys so much, and until the next one, goodbye.